Peace, family. We should be live right now. We're gonna have a magnificent show for y'all tonight. Get comfortable, get ready. We ain't gonna keep y'all too long, but we're gonna be here long enough to deliver the right message at the right time. Yeah, thumbs up the video. Make sure you share the video with your loved ones because this is something that your loved ones should be looking at instead of some of the foolishness that's on social media and on television these days. Well, I'm on peace, my brother. I see you in the chat. um, while y'all filling the room, I see y'all filling in the room fast. Let me just make a few announcements while y'all filling the room, and I guess we'll get started in a couple of minutes, family. All right. First and foremost, I got to give a shout out to Chicago Bitcoin Bully. This is one of the most important classes going around right now. Matter of fact, I'm on the air right today. We got the Queen of Cryptocurrency on the air with us today. So this sister is well aware of this space and how important it is. Sign up to the workshop. The link is in the description. I will be sharing the link in the chat room as well. But family, trust me when I say you don't want to be late to this party because your grandchildren are going to be mad at you if you're late for this party. All right, family? Shout out also another amazing workshop. It's time for us to learn how to manifest our own destiny instead of manifesting somebody else's destiny. If you want to learn about health, you want to learn about wealth, you want to learn about the energy dynamics of your body, this is the workshop to sign up to. It's going down 2022 Manifest Destiny Virtual Retreat, January 8th and 9th. That link is also in the description, and I will be talking about that more in depth this week as well. But those are two amazing workshops happening. Also, this brother's one of the best when it comes to numerology. My brother King Simon. Text him your full name and date of birth, 347-496-1022. And that brother will definitely get back to you at his earliest convenience. All right, family? One other thing I want to share, and I told Blue I had to talk about this, and the Queen Aquarius Maximus is being affected by this as well lately. There's shit going on with damn, what do I give me follow family? Gotta talk about this because ISO family. So the other day I put up a post on my YouTube channel. Somebody's going around replying to people with my name, Black Magic 363, and the avatar that I use, the Caduceus, the Kundalini. I've used that's been my avatar since I started my YouTube channel. It's been my avatar before my YouTube channel. That's just what I use when it comes to my business. It says, thanks for watching. Send a direct message to Wesley Allen right away on crypto investment and make huge profits. What's that? Then they give a number. That's not me, family. That is not me. If you get a message from anybody sending you somewhere, it's not even my style. It's not even my style to reply to YouTube comments. I let y'all do what y'all do. Once in a while I reply, but in generally, I don't really be all in the comments section like that. If you see somebody directing you somewhere, asking for money or anything, do not reply. That is not me. You see, my shit got the check. I'm verified on YouTube. Black right here, Black Magic, and I got the check mark. I did ask somebody what email did you use when signing up, but this right here with no check mark, no check, that's not me. Be very careful. We're in the era where this is big business. Aquarius Maximus has people are cloning her pages like crazy on Instagram, family. People are getting ripped off and they don't know who to blame, where it's coming from. I just try to hit up a brother. There's a brother on YouTube. Let me tell this story real quick. There's a brother on YouTube. I try to hit up Rashad Jamal. I told Blue Pill, I was like, yo, I like his stuff. I want to get him on the show. I hit the brother on Instagram. I'm like, yo, I want to get you on the show, bro. I like your stuff. Within like 10 seconds, I seen a reply. It said, hey, do you want a psychic reading? I'm like, this shit don't even sound right. I'm asking him about a YouTube channel. Then I'm like, nah, I want to get you on YouTube. Then they're like, hey, I really suggest you get the psychic reading. I'm like, yo, the brother don't even know they hacked this shit. If you know the brother, tell him that Brother Rich tried to hit him up and I'm getting psychic reading request this shit. Like, but yo, family, it's crazy right now. Go ahead, Blue.
It's like you can't even find me on Instagram if you don't type my whole name out because you're gonna get flooded with my clone pages first. And them niggas is trending. They part of the algorithm because they got followers and they have ability to crowdsource and fundraise funds that I can't. Like I'm more diplomatic the way that I'm asking people to
Yeah, yeah,
participate. I got shit for
yeah.
sale. You know what I'm saying? These niggas be like, yo, nigga, I need $500. And people are
Yeah.
sending that shit.
Yeah, people
And
sending
it's
it.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I could tell you why
I
that's happening.
I
Oh,
could
yeah.
call
I
them.
need to hear that, sis.
They could see my face. It's like you getting booked by bots. You getting booked by meme pages. And the real people gotta prove themselves. Our clones is out here, you know what I'm saying, getting the back. Shit is crazy.
Yeah, yeah, Aquarius. Why is it happening, Aquarius?
Well, the reason that that's happening, me being in the metaverse world, there's two fronts going on with the metaverse. One of them is, are you going to use your real identity in the metaverse? Or are you going to go to a metaverse where you don't have to use your real identity? So we're getting ready to come up on a year in 2022 where identity is going to come up again as an issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to decide that it doesn't mean that we have to go with this real identity that we actually carry that's tied to our daily lives, and why is it important to do so? Or am I going to be able to have my freedom of anonymity and not have to use my identity? Because if you've been familiar with Oculus, Oculus was requiring you to use your Facebook account to sign on, and they just recently changed that. However, just because they released that stipulation that you have to use your Facebook, which is supposed to be tied to a real identity, they're going
Mm-hmm.
to Meta is going to obviously impose some type of new identity process that's going to tie you to an identity. So there's a lot of identity politics going on behind the scenes in the tech world when it comes to the metaverse, and even when it comes to the vaccine, because the vaccine is also tied to your identity. So they're trying to push, they're trying to essentially, they're allowing this to happen so that people get pissed off enough, problem, reaction, solution, right?
Solution. Right. Right.
So that people get pissed off enough to say, okay, we need you
Right.
to do something about this cloning. The only thing
Yeah.
they can do about the cloning is ultimately they'll step in and say, well, then you need to you need to have some
It's
type of identity signature.
it's gonna be a KYC situation
Yeah,
that they're gonna deal with, because once they move everything from 2.0 to 3, they're gonna have to follow the same dictates. So everything is gonna be KYC, which is um, short for know your customer, which is gonna
right,
require two-step verification, right?
right,
So that's the ability to tell people, just like you said, Facebook had that going when they started. You had to have what? A college ID. You had to be a student on a campus in order to be part of Facebook initially when they started. But when they
Mm.
opened it up, just like they just did with Oculus, they opened the floodgates, and that
mhm,
allowed people to come in and assume identities. So now they're going to say, if you want to be verified, quote unquote, right? Verify is not going to just be a blue star. Verify will be something that would say you'll have some sort of indication next to your name that says that you match or you pass this verification criteria and you are the quote unquote real deal. Because, like she said, the meta is going to be the juxtaposition between real and REEL. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And
right,
again, like she said, they're going to utilize that to levy it to say, you know, that that particular C19 situation, that digital passport, that could
right.
potentially be tied to your new number.
Right,
Mm.
right. Like
You
when
know,
you purchase an NFT that's going to represent your identity or your name, to lock that down in whatever metaverse you're using it in, you're going to ask yourself, are you going to purchase, is that NFT going to be you? Are you a brand? Are you got to buy it if you're a brand, because you don't want anybody else using the brand in your name. So, so there's a catch 22. I'm in the process of developing a metaverse too, so it likely will have both features, a way to be anonymous, to turn on anonymity, but you're still going to have a way to at least prove who you are in terms of ownership of your brand. I'm working with brands, so I have to allow brands to be able to maintain ownership of their intellectual property.
Indeed.
right?
I'm glad y'all
And
explained it the way
yeah,
y'all explained it. That's
and
very
we
yeah.
we we have explicitly, told people on this platform, and I have done it on my platform numerous times as well. And if you want to secure your name, family as your domain, as your NFT. And right now, Unstoppable Domains got a deal going on where you got a buy one get one free situation that's only going on today. So Unstoppable Domains is where you need to go and buy your name.
Mm.
Treat yourself like the corporation that you are, right? Like she said, these identity politics are going to follow us into 2022. And it's really going to be about autonomy, the aspects of you seeing yourself in this conceptual, quote unquote, sovereign model, but not it being what was taught in the past, but more so, do you own your identity? You know what I'm saying? Do you control it? Have you a stake in it? And it's going to come down to your name. Your name is going to be intricately tied into your identity. So you want to go and scoop your name up, if nothing else, and then you work on your company and your brand, and you make sure that you secure those domains. Your digital real estate is going to be your new real estate.
Mm.
Let's be clear. And shout out
Mm.
Aquarius. I seen you did an interview on Unstoppable Domains, and it was amazing.
Oh, that's
Thank you.
dope. I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
Aquarius, before we start the show, tell the people your IG, because a couple of people saying they want to make sure they got the right IG. What is your IG?
It's Aquarius at Aquarius Maximus. What cloners will do is it'll be a misspelling, or there'll be a dot or underscore or something. Mine doesn't have any of that. And you don't want to go on the page and just look at the name under the photo, because they could put the real name there. You want to look at the top of the page. That's where the real the real handle is. So they could have all my information right here, but the handle is going to be misspelled, or it's going to have periods or underscores or just, stuff in it. Mine doesn't have that. It's just purely Aquarius Maximus. Actually, my name is actually trademarked. So, I have a legitimate legal issue with Instagram and Facebook. So if I decide to pursue that route, then, I would be suing
Right.
Facebook for trademark infringement.
So trade, right? Facebook or Instagram will want to censor me, right, about an article that I'm sharing that comes out on a national publication platform, and they're telling me I don't have the right to share that information. Why are they not protecting my rights as a
Mm.
private, quote unquote, corporation or citizen or whatever, or a member of their community? They know that the cloning is taking place because it's an exact duplicate of my page. So where's the bots? Where is the IG enforcement when it comes? Because these cloning situations, this person is committing fraud on your platform right in front of your face.
Mm.
But you telling people they can't at me and follow me because I'm violating X, Y, and Z of their, statutes or criterias, but you're not protecting your customer base against open scamming, right?
Right.
People who
I
are
reported
flipping
a page.
our personage.
Yeah, I actually reported a page and they came back at me and said that they didn't find, of course, their automatic algorithm didn't find anything wrong with this page. So that
Wow.
usually that comes back. But
Crazy.
yeah, exactly. And they know that people on a smaller level are not going to go through a lawsuit or this or that, and take years taking them to court, which is why I set up the petition, because of potentially bringing groups of people together, just to make a public, make it publicly aware that this is going on, because programmatically.
She froze.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
Queen might have to log back in. Um All right, well, let's start the topic today. And I guess okay.
She's back.
Aquarius, you back?
Yeah, I forgot to switch to my other network. But yeah, so they could make it so that people, if especially they can run the algorithm, they can run the name against the names that are being used. And if another name is, especially if it's a business, because you can run that algorithm as well, they can append the name, fan page, or whatever the case may be, that they try to sign up with. There's ways to do it, but each person that signs up is money. You know, so if they get a scammer that signs up 1,000 pages, that's just more money for them, you know, having more users.
Indeed. All right, let's start the show, family. I had to make that introduction because that's very important. Somebody in the comments said that they got scammed by one of your clone pages, so that's very, very important. Family. What they said there's a page that hit me up a couple of nights now claiming to be Aquarius. Yeah, see, family, this is this has to be addressed.
They'll be like, beloved, grand rising.
Yo,
you know?
Crazy, right? Crazy.
Word of my mother. I had a meeting today with a brother, and he, you know, before we started our meeting, he was like, "Yo, what's up with such and such?" And I was like, "I haven't spoken to him recently. Why?" He's like, "You sure he okay?" I'm like, "He should be. Last time we spoke, he was good." Man, this nigga was in my DM the other day talking about. I was like, "Whoa." I was like, "Do you think that was him specific?" And he showed me the text. I went and showed him the same text that someone had booked me with, because I got booked before. I'm telling y'all, I got booked. Okay. It was somebody that I actually know. This person is in a little financial situations, and I've been working the best that I can to shift, you know, sister resources. And one day I got a text and was like, "Yo, I need X, Y, and Z." And you all right? Yeah, I just need to pay X, Y. All right, just chill. Look here. And then 2 days later, she sent the max text out talking about, "Yo, if you got booked," you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So go back, you know, to what I was saying about earlier. That could have compromised, you know, this brother's social relationships, his business relationships. You know what I'm saying? Niggas could have been looking at him like he was cuckoo and desperate, not knowing that it's somebody done cloned his whole situation. And our people, this is deep too, right? We're talking about going into meta. We're talking about going into a virtual space. And our people don't have the critical analytical skill set to discern a goddamn clone page.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to be able to discern a CIA operative that has, you know, totally cloned himself, that's in the meta dropping mad gems on you, and you think that that's Quaheen from Long Beach? Nigga.
Yeah. My friends usually spot it right away, and they you know, they get angry and they go after them and all this other stuff. They like, I know Aquarius, and I know she don't talk like that. So I know. Yeah, so you know, they usually spot it. But one of them, the heads of one of the operations, contacted my daughter. And that particular cloning operation was definitely operating out of Nigeria. So it was a Nigerian. He was very obviously, she could tell, he FaceTimed her, and could tell by the surroundings that he had money, you know, he was very wealthy. It was a wealthy setup. And he was like, we making tons of money off of y'all, you know. So he was just kind of antagonizing her. You know, my daughter's an Aries, so she was just mad. She was like wanting to start warfare, but I'm like, it's nothing you can do about it. And it, you know, you can't stop it. Just like he said, on that platform, they can continue doing it. So there are other people benefiting. It's a wide array of people who are benefiting from the process.
Yes.
Family, once again, before we start the show, make sure you go to Amazon and support. If you're doing some shopping this holiday season, make sure you go and get yourself a children's book, Caleb Petey in the Forest. It was written by my mother before she passed away over 15 years ago. My sister released it this year. It is on Amazon, and it's something that everybody should have. If they, you know, even if you're not into celebrating the holidays, you should have it just for your household, for your children, grandchildren, your friends' children, whoever. All right, family. But yeah, that was just, it's so important just to talk about just now. We had to talk about that. I want to start the show. We're almost at 1,000 right now, so let me start the show. We are. Let me just see. What am I doing here? Let me read this before we start the show. All right, so this is the brother. Blue Pill. His last name is pronounced Abloh. Is that?
Yeah, Abloh.
Abloh. Okay, I don't want to. Yeah, I want to just. All right.
Yeah,
So this is the
he has
brothers.
Ghanaian parents. His
Okay.
parents were
Okay.
Ghanaian immigrants. Yes.
Okay, I want to let me, this is the brother's Instagram. Let me just read it real quick, so just in case a couple of the family might not know what's going on. We are devastated to announce the passing of our beloved Virgil Abloh, a fiercely devoted father, husband, son, brother, and friend. He is survived by his loving wife Shannon Abloh, his children Lo Abloh and Gray Abloh, his sister Edwina Abloh, his parents Nia and Eunice Abloh, and numerous dear friends and colleagues. For over 2 years, Virgil valiantly battled a rare aggressive form of cancer, cardiac angiosarcoma. He chose to endure his battle privately since his diagnosis in 2019, undergoing numerous challenging treatments, all while helming several significant institutions that span fashion, art, and culture. I'm gonna end it right there. Just a very well-known person, brother, in the fashion industry. Um, and a lot of people, every time a rich person passes away from like cancer or something like that, people are complex. People in their everybody's mind, they're like, damn, didn't this person have enough money to get the best treatment, the best doctors, the best whatever? Didn't he know about Dr. Sabi, or didn't he know about Queen of Fu, or this one or that one? And we automatically go to the way we eat. What I want to ask, I'm with two individuals that are extremely spiritual on the lines today. I want to, and both of you both talk about how emotional trauma can cause disease and impacts our life severely. I want to ask you, in terms of cancer, besides it being the food we consume, do you think, and I know Aquarius and Blue deals with numbers, Aquarius, you deal with cardiology. Is this, when we get something like cancer, is this something, Aquarius? I know the last show I did with you, you said that they told you, the elders told you you was going to get COVID. So I'm like, well, damn, they knew she was going to get COVID months before she even got it. You end up getting it. So my question is this something we can't avoid? If I'm destined to get cancer, does it not matter what I eat, what I do? That shit is going to happen to me. Is this how, Raku would say that, this everything is destined before we come down here. So let's talk about disease from a different perspective. Are these diseases something we can't avoid if we're supposed to get them?
Well, everybody has obstacles that they're born with that are going to be strong in their path. Everybody has things that they're susceptible to due to their genetic coding and a variety of other things. So that is true. So, my some of the karmas that go along with my particular card are vision problems. Are I may fall susceptible to something that makes me catatonic one day, right? So catatonic is associated with me, so which is why I have a fear of being held down, or I'm claustrophobic and all of these other things because something could strike me one day that leaves me catatonic. Now, cancer is one of those things that can affect, multiple cards because it deals with holding on to things or things that are clinging on to you, usually through emotional energy. Emotional energy. I tell people when there's certain things, like if you're a particular card, and let's say you're a card that holds in their anger, right? If you are let's say you're a 4 of diamonds, that anger may go into your gut, right? Because the 4 of diamonds has a Queen of Hearts and Saturn. So your anger is gonna, all that anger that you have that you've been holding in about various things is going to accumulate in your gut, right? So you could suffer from colon cancer or any one of the cancers that are in that area. Is just a collection of the energy that you've been storing, right? So you want to know, and then even if you're not a 4 diamonds, let's say it's a 7-year period where you're displacing the 4 diamonds. During that 7 years, if you're holding in a lot of anger and stuff like that, your anger is going to collect in your gut. So you may find during that 7-year period that you got polyps, you've developed this, you developed that, all of those things that anger is collecting there, right? So if you're a club, like say a king of club, in your head is one of the most sensitive things on your body, then you can collect anger is going to just literally sit in your head. So you might get brain cancer, or you may suffer from something in relation to the head, the jaw, the mouth, the teeth, the bones, going down in that area. So The cards will show where the energy is going to go. And if the energy goes there and it piles up and it sits there, then it will become cancerous. So it is now its own parasite eating away at your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, in terms of the actual eating and all those other things, when you're not eating the right foods, like say you're eating foods that you are comfort foods for you. Well, guess what? Those foods are comfort foods for that cancer too. You know what I mean? So if sugar becomes your comfort, sugar is what's feeding that parasitic energy that's accumulated there. So during that time, you're going to have to break away from sugar. You're going to have to starve the cancer, of what it's needing to grow. So this is what happens in terms of cardology. So it starts with the emotions. So if you know where your emotions are going to accumulate, you can work on that energy. You can work on that area to break that energy up. So if you're getting Reiki or you're getting, deep tissue massage or stuff like that, the areas in which you work on are going to break up that collective energy where you're storing your anger.
What does his card tell you? Being he was born September 30th, 1980. Is it in alignment with?
Yeah, well, he definitely is allergic to that type of behavior. He's the Seven of Hearts. So a Seven of Hearts is they're supposed to really, really, really overcome their any type of emotional stuff, because they have a King of Hearts in Neptune, and the King of Hearts is the card of emotional self. It's supposed to be emotional self-control. When you become a King of Hearts, so you're here with a King of Hearts, you're supposed to be becoming a master of your emotions, right? So if you're becoming a master, that means it's even more critical for you, because if you hit critical mass, it could be deadly. You are amassing that emotional energy. And to be as young as he is at age 41, he was definitely holding on to something childhood, because you got to understand, over these last couple of years, this has also been about bringing up childhood traumas. This has been associated with COVID, bringing up stuff that's very, very deep, so that you can bring it up and release it and move on, like what they say is ascension. So if you're dealing with all of this stuff, it's very critical during this time that you find ways of releasing it, and that be your priority of releasing it, because something can come and jar you suddenly and take you down to the depths of near death or death experience, just releasing that trauma that you're holding on to.
Wow. Blue, you are a student. You're one of the brothers that helped introduce Dr. Valentine to the community. He's a metaphysical brother. You're also a student of Dr. Sabi, real close with the brother Dr. Sabi. You actually got the brother on my blog talk show way back in the day. So you got the metaphysical side and you got the health side. And we know those brothers, they had a disagreement on health back in the day. Being that you're a student of both of them, and you've been around so much at this point, how do you view health? An emotional thing, a food thing? What's your, what's your take on that?
Yeah, again, like you said, having the ability to, learn underneath different masters of their particular modality. Sabi would say that food is the cause of dis-ease. Valentine would say that, the evidence is the quote unquote dis-ease takes place in the spirit body first. So look at the subtle energy bodies. You know what I'm saying? He would say that it's, a physical manifestation of a mental, quote unquote disorder or dis-ease. So maybe we should look at there, just like what Aquarius is talking about. How do these pockets of energy manifest in your body? Some of them are trapped emotions, some of them are trauma based. You know what I'm saying? Trauma is gonna eventually materialize in your body, as some form of malady. Um, that realm of teaching does not, Sabi does not necessarily come from that approach. So you have to have the ability to synthesize, both aspects of the information, because I would also, be around, and Sabi would tell stories about, he did prescribe to the fact that everybody was not necessarily curable per se. And what he meant by that is that, you know, some things are prescribed to take place. You know what I'm saying? You know, and people will come in stage 4 cancer. They will come for miracles, and some miracles would happen and some wouldn't. You feel me? And it's easy to write it off to say, oh, that person came too late for us to catch it. But you also got to look at it and say, was that particular situation supposed to be reversed? You know what I mean? Because you can look at a person's chart, you can look at the evidence to see that's already hardwired, it's already written, it's right there. It's like, oh, this was in your program. You feel me? There was nothing that could come between that. And if something did, would it necessarily shit? Might I be the one responsible for throwing you off? You feel me? What if you tap somebody in and keep them longer than they supposed to be here?
Right,
Right?
right.
So that's a whole nother side of
Mm.
healing that comes with you out here, quote unquote, trying to save the world and do the right shit. And you could be, you know, haphazardly saving the wrong person who's prescribed time. They're on borrowed time now. They're gonna really might fuck some shit up.
Yeah. Some people and some cards have willpower, very strong willpower signatures,
Mm.
meaning that they have the willpower to endure anything and overcome anything. So that's
Yeah.
if they want to. That's a choice.
Yeah.
You
What
know,
card is that? What card is
that's
that?
usually the eight of spades, the eights in general, like the eight of hearts, the eight of
Mm.
diamonds, the eight of spades, and the eight of clubs. Very
Mm.
Yeah.
strong willpower.
I
So
did an
these are the
aura reading right
these are the
yesterday.
people you could throw in a room and torture them. They could be tortured or for God knows how long, and they would be the ones to still survive.
Yeah. Yeah. They could run into crazy Lamar and still survive a situation like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I did an aura reading yesterday, and that's what she said. You know, I had the extraordinary will. You know, my solar plexus was off the charts, and it was that willpower. And I was having this whole conversation with myself the day prior to that about, you know, that particular thing, identifying, you know, how it kicks in, when it kicks in, you know, what separates me. I'm making observations about other individuals that was on a journey but didn't quite make it. And it's that willpower pushing through, you know what I'm saying? Just being so self-determined to never like allow yourself to buy into failure. Everybody does not have that. So it's the condition of the individual as well, coupled with the help that the healer is allocating to you. Because again, I'm very dismissive of this concept of people being healers. You're a helper, you're not a healer. The body is the only thing that heals itself. It's the only thing that qualifies itself is creative force in the body. You a goddamn, you direct traffic, my nigga. You are a helper. You're not a healer, right? And if you remove yourself from that concept, you can help a lot more people because you know that's where ego comes in. And niggas want to have pissing contests to see who's the number one healer. Why don't you have a contest to see who's the number one helper, right? That sounds a lot better. So this is service based, right? If I'm serving, I'm helping. Your body is already equipped to do everything it needs to do. I might be, you know, showing you what you got to put into it to remineralize it, but the body is going to heal itself. So I just wanted to put that, you know, that little piece in there. But yeah, it's a very interesting paradigm, you know, when you understand the metaphysics of something, but then the hard physics of it as well. You got to pay attention to that because you can't be dismissive, like I said, of the fact that our people have the tools to do astrological forensics and
Mm.
start, you know, lifting the roof up and showing you like, oh, look, this is what happened here and that's what happened there. You know what I'm saying? And then we get caught up in the physicality, the dynamics of how that particular act was taking place. But what about the mechanics to speak about, you know, how it actually was put into motion? That's what they
Mm.
doing with cardology. That's what gematria is doing. That's what astrology is doing.
Mm. What do you think? A lot of diseases, if we're going to go from disease and look at it being stagnant emotions in our body, it appears that a lot of diseases we have during this time wasn't around 100 years ago. Like I think they said heart disease. There's some new shit that we're encountering. So if the slaves during slavery, if we ate
Diabetes, yeah.
yeah, if we ate, I mean, such horrible food, and I'm sure whatever we think stress is, try working 16 hours a day for free and getting beat, watching your mama, your sister, go through shit. That's some stress. So if it's stress, if it's food related, if it's all these things, why you think they didn't have those diseases back then? Or at least I don't know that they had it back then like we have it today.
Well, that's because most of the diseases that we have right now are on the spectrum of autoimmune diseases. So these are just literally when we turn on our own body. So when we're turning in on our own body. So we're not expressing out anymore. We feel powerless. So we're turning it in on ourselves. So I think that years ago we had more outlets to express ourselves, and you know what I mean. And now it's about suppressing yourself more so than it is about expressing yourself.
And I think that ties in directly to identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
That ties in directly to identity. I don't think that people on the plantation were necessarily dealing with identity issues in that respect. You know, how do I self-identify myself? They was dealing with survival daily.
Yeah.
They was dealing with figuring things out. So the wheels that were turning was somewhat different. The food that they were intaking was mineralized, totally different from the soil content. They were getting an extraordinary amount of vitamin D because they were out in the fields. Their bodies were constantly active, so the metabolism had to be all the way upstairs. But it would be interesting. I don't hear them really speak about situations like the gut, the microbiome of a quote unquote slave. Have they found? Because they'll tell you about fossilized feces, right? But have they done? I have not read, studies that have been done on waste from, what I'm saying, carcasses or corpses they found during slavery, and they've been able to study the stool and figure some. I have not heard any of those studies. You know what I mean? But and the love was different, even with our people going through all of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't really hear about a lot of closed heart chakras. When you hear these stories, you'll hear about a man whose wife was taken from him and raped, and she had children for the master. He was still married that woman. He was still come back and gain quote unquote freedom for that woman. He loved on that woman in a whole different way that we can't even relate to today. So these did not sound like individuals that had closed heart chakras. You know what I'm saying? And they had to be very receptive individuals. I mean, look at the inventors. Look at, what I'm saying? Look at all of the stuff that they were still able to come up with. That ability to say that the fear paradigm, releasing of cortisol, it kind of locks people down. You can't grow. You know what I mean? You get into fight or flight. These don't sound like these individuals.
And they also had, and it's even when it comes to food, it's about the relationship you have with food. If your relationship with food is negative, then your food is going to have a negative effect on you. So
Right.
I've had people sometimes where, I could see that they have a negative relationship with food. Like when they sitting down.
Give me an example. Give me an example, Aquarius. Give me an
It's
example.
just like, I won't eat this, and I don't eat this, and I don't eat this, and I don't eat this, and it's just a lot of brain power being exerted on what you don't do or what you won't do and what you don't like and whatever. You understand what I'm saying? But there's not enough balance in terms of, okay, what are you putting together that you like, or what are you appreciative of? Because if you don't have any food and you walk to somebody's house and they offer you some food, then that's just a goodwill gesture. You know what I mean? They're not trying to kill you. So it's still talking about your relationship with how you feel about it. So if you don't have a good relationship with food, no, food is not going to have a good relationship with you at all. You know,
Right. And let's also be mindful. And this is a factor that people don't factor in. Post 1960s, us wearing, shoes, sneakers with plastic on the bottom, separating ourselves from the electromagnetism of the earth, getting our electrical body charged. A lot of uptick in disease that we see in melanated people in particular started post 60s, right? Diabetes was not a thing melanated people had. That was not one of our diseases, quote unquote, right? These things you start seeing come in post 1960s. You feel me?
so
So
you're talking about the Pluto and Virgo generations, which
Pluto
is
and
a
Virgo
generation I talk about a lot. They
right?
went through a lot of suffering.
I
Well,
was
you
born
said
in the
say that
Pluto
again. The
Libra.
Pluto.
Yeah,
Wait, hold
Virgo.
on. Blue. Hold on. What
Yeah.
she said? Blue. The Pluto what?
Pluto and Virgo generation.
Okay.
That's the generation before me. That's my mom and my dad. They went through a lot of suffering, a lot of mental health problems, a lot, and didn't have any way to express or deal with that. So they turned to drugs. They turned to alcohol. You know, that's that generation. That's their legacy. But Virgo deals with the wholeness and the healing of the body. You know, so but Virgo's issue is the mind, you know, and dealing with the mind. So now Pluto and Virgo, you had a war between the body and the mind. You had that with that generation, you know. So that was something that was their legacy they're bringing into the children and et cetera, et cetera. But that's that height of when that took place is what he's talking about.
Yes. And then we were born into Pluto and Libra, which was now transformation of relationships, right? And we become the latchkey children, right? Because the family dynamics have now changed. You know, mama got to go to work, daddy ain't nowhere to be found.
Divorce was accepted during that time.
Divorce contracts, right? Because Libra's contracts. So the breaking of marital contracts and vows. Papa's a Rolling Stone. All this crazy shit.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Baby mamas, baby daddies. You know, that was how that generation was.
This happened in pockets. People might have a tendency to think that this is what we always did. And it's not.
And it's
You
not
know
the
what I'm
case.
saying? It happened under specific astrological, canopies. You feel me?
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, this is such an interesting conversation, y'all. Make sure y'all all hit the Cash App. Make sure y'all support Blue. Aquarius, leave your Cash Apps for the people real quick. Tell them your Cash Apps real quick.
Wow. Cash App doesn't like me. I'm on Venmo.
Okay.
I'm on Venmo as @Cardologer.
And Blue, what's your
I have a silent war with
Cash App?
with Jack Dorsey.
Jack Dorsey.
Period.
Yeah. So I wanted you to speak about that, when we finish doing these drops. I did want to ask you, what was your thoughts on him removing himself? What strategy do you think they're implementing, especially during a pivotal day like Monday after the market tanked its hardest on Friday, the beginning of the Maxwell trial? So let me just say my Cash App is $Blue Pillar 44, the same way that it's written here, right? That's my same handle on IG, across all of the networks. But yes, Aquarius, what is your insight? What does his card say? Should we is more accurate?
Well, Twitter and all of his properties, I believe he's a 2 of diamonds. And he's as a 2 of diamonds, he's ruled by Mars and Saturn. Mars and Saturn are about strategy. So a person who's ruled by Mars and Saturn, every single move they make is strategic. So if it's something like this, that means that he's making a play for something else. You know what I mean? And obviously that's where he's been going because he's been headed more towards the crypto world. But see, there's a conflict between we were talking about that conflict earlier. We were talking about the conflict of the decentralized
versus centralized.
Supposedly, yeah, versus centralized, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't say that you're a champion for decentralization, but you're running a heavily centralized platform.
Heavily.
Yeah.
And he spoke on that in his resignation letter. He said something to the effect of, you know, serving a centralized, you know what I'm saying, paradigm or engine. And I guess, yeah, like you said, you know, that's not, because they said the majority of his bread comes from Square, it don't come from Twitter.
Right,
So
right,
he was
right.
speaking about shifting Square over into Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? He already got Cash App there. So I would imagine, yeah, this pivot must be
But
him.
it's still centralized. Square is
Yeah.
very Cash App is centralized. You don't own your, you don't own your own keys. You can't just walk away with your Bitcoin. If you buy a whole Bitcoin, good luck with trying to move that whole Bitcoin.
Can't.
Whatever, you can't. So
You
it's
can't.
very
Not on Cash App. Yeah.
yeah, very centralized. But
Um,
the average person doesn't know that, so they can keep going with the what do you call it, the smoke screen, because they know people don't know that.
yeah. Talking about Blue as well as yourself, you mentioned the word parasite earlier in terms of what we eat and feeding these parasites, and the parasites, being cancerous. Some people in the spiritual community talks about entities attaching themselves onto you. Some people say they attach to your chakras and they deplete your energy. Is entities and parasites, are they one and the same? It's just different schools of thought? Are they one and the same, or it's totally two different concepts when it comes to somebody sucking you of your energy?
Well, in my my experience, entities, they're everything. They're in everything. They're in colors. You have entities that live in color spectrums. You have entities that see, the thing is, the human mind is, we're always creating. We're always creating, and we don't understand that everything we create has a life of its own. So even if you're creating babies, if you're creating creations, like you have these ideas and you put these ideas out there, if you don't take these ideas all the way through to fruition, then they're going to nag you, they're going to bug you, just like little kids. You're going to be like, hey, remember me? Look, you gave birth to me, do something with me, I'm here. So that's why you can go to somebody's space, and if they're very creative, they might have a bunch of stuff, right? So their spirits are living in all that stuff they have. Their house might be full of stuff, you know? And they say creative people, quote unquote, can be messy people, right? So you can go to a creative house, which is a creative club, and everything could be everywhere, because
Right.
everything that they create is in all of those things that are everywhere, right? And it's there to remind them that, hey, I'm here. But this is why meditation and things like that were introduced to us, to stop us from creating constantly, like, just our minds being overworked, and we creating and creating, because then you get the chaos that we have out in society and stuff like that. This is all just unbridled creativity. And this is something that I learned having 8 kids. I have an 8 of spades and Pluto, right? And the 8 of spades is one of the highest creation cards there is. Like, literally, I could have a baby by myself. I could have, what do you call it? What they call
Parthenogenesis.
parthenogenesis, right? I could just create a child,
That's the
right?
fertile card. Eight of
Yeah,
spades.
yeah,
I mean, 8 of
8 of
clubs.
spades. Well, mine's is in Pluto. That's what makes it more
Okay.
fertile, because it's in my
Regeneration.
reproductive.
Right.
So my reproductive is like full of creation, right? So at one point, back in 2014, I gotten sick. I lost a lot of weight. I was real pale. I was anemic. They didn't know what was wrong with me. So they was like, well, let's take let's give you a hysterectomy. So I said, no, I don't want a full hysterectomy. You could just take my uterus out, right? So they took my uterus out, and they found a tumor about the size of a God knows whatever. So I had given birth to something that was still there. So that's what that tumor was. And it was living in me. So it was taking everything from me. you know, and that's what happens. So that when your creative powers are that strong, you literally will create everywhere. But you have to have mechanisms to control your mind, to control yourself, because you will wind up having relationship problems because you create problems where there are none. You will wind up having, all kind of problems in your life because you can create anything. So the Eight of Spades literally has a Three of Clubs in Saturn. The Three of Clubs is one of the most creative cards there is. That's a huge imagination. Huge, but it's in Saturn. Saturn crystallizes things. So the Three of Clubs being there saying that you are crystallizing your imagination. So if you're constantly crystallizing your imagination, you have to have a mechanism to not, you don't want to walk around with a magic wand just going boop, 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 boop. I want this, I want this, I want this, and you don't really want this. So you have to have a way to tame that energy, and that's through things like meditation, and you got to spend time alone, a lot of time alone, because again, even absorbing other people's thoughts, you start creating what they want.
So, Blue, like I asked, parasites and entities, do you feel as though they're one and the same? Are they different things?
I mean, a parasite is a form of an entity.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? But like she said, the aspect of this of an entity of a being, you can find that in a lot of different things, or what have you. Um, Parasites, from my understandings, they are ancient, very intelligent beings. You know what I mean? They come from the worm family. The worm family precedes the serpent family, if you understand that whole process of evolution. So parasites, we're talking about primordial, they're ancient, and they're very intelligent, and they have ability to override your consciousness. You know what I'm saying? And I would think that is tantamount to what we're speaking about when we speak about entities. When people come under possession and they get mounted, those particular entities override your consciousness and you become a host. Is the same thing that's happening with the parasites. And these things are, again, these are subtle. This is not something that is a magnanimous structure that's on top of you. This is something that's so you can't see it. It's microscopic. You know what I'm saying? But it runs things. The unseen world has an extreme influence over the seen world. The smallest of things move the biggest of things. It's not the other way around. So there's a note to be taken, with that information and that understanding when it comes to parasites. It's like, yo, something that small can have an indelible effect on your character, your attitude. Because I've had parasites and what have you. That shit has altered my mood. It's altered my mood. You feel me? I was very low vibrational because I was playing host to parasites, and they had a whole nother plan. They had a whole nother agenda.
Another agenda.
And I was helping them carry that shit out. Yeah. So
I remember seeing an episode of Law and Order where a woman had committed a crime, and they found out that she had a parasite or something in her
seen
head,
that episode.
and they removed it, and she went back to her normal self.
Went back to her normal self. She was, and I would put money on it. If they were to run some sort of clinical study once again, where they was observing either organs or stool of serial murders or psychopaths, I'm sure a strong percentage of them would show some sort of neurological parasites, evidence of neurological, parasites in the brain that are causing them, you know what I mean, to be a little bit off kilt.
I agree. That's why a lot of them were
this deep stuff, yo.
Clubs people. And unfortunately, I think clubs people could be very super powerful people because clubs is so heavily mind related, But unfortunately, one of the negative things that are associated with the clubs is if you spend too much time in your mind, that's the growth of negativity. being too much in your mind, too much in your head.
Because you and I'm a clubs, so I could speak to the fact that we entertain everything in our mind. We go through all variables, you know what I'm saying? And thoughts of things. So it's like, but just you passing through and, turning the light bulb on to that idea. If you don't know how to close the box that you open, you leave the box open. You know what I'm saying? And that shit can spill out. It has a life of its own now. So there's modalities. We spoke about it, I think, when I was we did that advice episode, Brother Rich, and I was talking about, visualizing, putting certain things in a circle of fire, using the sword of fire to cut through certain thoughts that if you manifest them and you don't want them to linger and continue, you have to cut through them. You have to exterminate them. If negative thoughts arise and you feel a particular way about them, you have to chase that shit down and put 2 in it. You do not let it linger. You treat it like you would treat the ops. You spin on that shit.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize the power of Mercury and what kind of power Mercury has. Mercury that's the alchemist. So and Mercury is very powerful. Like it is very powerful, and a lot of us have very strong mercurial powers.
So,
and
let's speak about and make an observation, and hopefully you can make a connection for us. This particular mercurial archetypical brother named Kanye West got on a platform and aired his grievances out. Mercury, right? Communication, talking, right? Let me tell you what's on my mind. And everybody that he seemed to have hit, right? We've seen them spiraling all of a sudden. If Travis Scott, Drake, and now we see Virgil. Let's put a prayer up for Big Sean and John.
John Legend.
John Legend, right? And my apologies, y'all. I still got this scorpionic humor.
Well, he's the 9 of diamonds is connected. He's the 9 of diamonds, and he's connected to the 8 of spades, the card that I was talking about earlier, the card that can do anything.
Yes.
Who you talking about, Kanye?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the 8 of spades transformation card is the 9 of diamonds. So they're literally linked. So this is a card that can do anything. But you also have to understand that the 9 of diamonds is also the card for melanin people with melanin. So that shows why we're super, we're superheroes or whatever. And we can literally do anything that we put our mind to. That's what they say, right? That's the 8 of spades. You can do anything you put your mind to. So, we have those powers, but part of understanding the fact that we have that superpower, that real big X-Men, X-Women power, is we also have to take responsibility for the fact that we have that power. And taking responsibility means that once you know you have that power, you also come into the knowledge that you are what has created your reality, So if you take that power back, you can change your reality, but you can't constantly keep throwing it away saying that there are other people who are controlling your reality and you have no power. The time for powerlessness is over. This is about being powerful. And being powerful literally means you have, and this is what cardology is. Cardology is the science of being able to see things from a different perspective. Right. So I taught myself to even look at quote unquote white folks differently. Right. And I've taken the monster and shrunk it down. Right. So I'm looking at them like, okay, they really like us a lot, because we got that juice and they know it. You understand? And you in your playground growing up in kindergarten always knew that the kids that was jealous of you wanted to beat you up and enslave you and do all kind of things. That's what they do, But I also feel like they fear us, right? They prefer to see us in a happy state because it makes them feel more comfortable. Like I'm not okay. They're not gonna really beat me up because I was a jerk. You know what I mean? They're really cool people. And when you get to know some of them, that's exactly how they feel. They be like, "Dad, you're really cool people. Like you're really the coolest people." You know what I mean? So you start looking at things differently because you have to kill that big bad boogeyman, you know, in order for you
Concept, yeah.
to be in your power.
You
You
have
have
to.
to get rid of it. You got to take total responsibility of your life and know that you are the powerful one. And then also now this real X-Men, X-Woman ability is now coming to the forefront and you can use it at will. You know what I mean? So it's so much discipline. And that's why a lot of these spiritual sciences and stuff like that, they beat discipline so hard on you, you know, because really what they're trying to do is give you the tools so that you can control your own thoughts.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. I hope y'all enjoying this. I'm like a student right here. I'm taking my notes as usual, family. This is like a real dope conversation, family. We about to get the Q&A soon. We passed the hour mark. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We got 1,200 people in here. You want to say something real quick, Blue?
When you finish. Yeah.
Okay, no, because I was gonna go to the next question. So why don't you say
Yeah, it's an unprecedented observation, you know, that I'm having about time. Writing this book, Convos with the Cosmos, started it or tracking it last year, leading to this year. You know, I'm really seeing the way that the whole theme of time and space carried over from 2020 with Jupiter and Saturn, you know, in that particular conjunction, because all of these ceremonious rituals have been about time for the most part this year. What we saw the other day with Rittenhouse, on that day, you know, that was all about, that day was consecrated and enshrined in time, right? 580 years removed from the longest eclipse, which took place on 1441. Remember, I told y'all 1441 is a palindrome. So you're looking at a mirror. You're looking at 14, looking at 41, right? Rittenhouse, right? He didn't get time. It wasn't his time. It was a day connected to the 44 energy, and he equals 144. He's not gonna catch no time on the day that symbolizes time, because it's 1,440 minutes in a day, and in gematria, time equals 144. So, and that was the day out of time they enshrined and put Kamala Harris in for 85 minutes. She was president, right? Her motif of Kali represents time, right? Kali is a time, the woman is the timekeeper, right? Originally, if we want to talk, right, this ancient information, the woman was the keeper of time. Or Set was Saturn before, goddamn it. The Greeks caught it and put it to Chronos. This is, you can go to your Google and verify this information. So they installed her in a day that's enshrined in time. A day after the blood moon, they put in somebody that's synonymous with blood, if you will, with the motifs. When people see Kali, that's what they make their associations to. And then a few days later, this brother drops dead, and he's 41 years old, right? And we just came out of the 1441 whole palindrome. And I keep showing them, like, look, all of these ceremonies are taking place on Friday, the day associated with Venus, that 5 energy, you know what I'm saying? Copper people, like, it keeps taking place with us. Nobody's paying attention to these cycles and these circles. And it's like, you know, for all the teaching, all the stuff that you could do for our people, it's like, if they don't pay attention to the signs and the patterns, you know, they're continuously missing this narrative. You feel me? Let's look at Rittenhouse's relative, right? David Rittenhouse. David Rittenhouse was an American astronomer, inventor, clockmaker, mathematician, surveyor, scientific instrument craftsman, and public official. He was a member of the American Philosophical Society and the first director of the United States Mint. So this was the day after the full moon eclipse in Taurus. Taurus is dealing with financial institutions in the Mint. This man's relative, right, was the first goddamn director of the Mint, and he created instruments to precisely track eclipses. right? So either we're talking time travel here, or we're talking about societies that take care of their own, right? Societies that take it, they like, nigga, not one of ours is going down. How, Sway? You feel me? But I would dare to say that it's not a conspiracy. This is just a cosmic narrative that's playing out.
Yeah,
I don't buy into that conspiracy shit.
You said it best when we did that show. What did you call it? The universe is conspiring. I use that all the time now.
Yeah.
When they think it's the Illuminati or they think it's this, I tell them the whole universe is conspiring right now. And people have to understand that we even initiate the conspiring because with our wishes, which ironically, this new variant is a 9 of hearts, which is the wish card, right? So it with our wishes, and it goes back to everything I was saying about taming your mind so you don't wish for stuff you don't want. But with our wishes, the everything configures to make that wish a reality, right? But something that happens within that configuration is going to be something that you don't like because it may be something in the way. It may be somebody in the way. It may be somebody who needs to be there to allow for someone else to come through. But the plan, everything, if you've ever seen like these wheels of life, like the wheels, because they show you the wheel of life because everything is moving on that wheel. Every little part, it's not just you. So when you make a wish, you don't already put it out on the universe. It's a little ripple, and it becomes a wave, and everything is assembling to make that wish a reality, to create that thing. So that a part of it could be removing somebody from your life because they're standing in the way of you achieving that wish. You know what I mean? So whether you wanted to or not, you didn't want them to be removed. You didn't want to lose your mama, lose your brother, lose your sister. You didn't want that, but you didn't know that was a part of the bigger plan. You know what I mean? You just knew what you wanted, and this is the energy that you put out there.
Is this why sometimes before, I'm gonna just use artists as an example, before they get big, somebody close to them passes away?
That happens to anybody before they get big. Anyone, because this is the thing.
Wow,
when you're sitting in the signature of massive success, guess what planets are playing? Uranus, Pluto, Jupiter, right? Those are the 3 planets that are playing right now. Those are you're talking about the planet that rules death and transformation, expansion, and shocking shit. You know what I mean? So all of that descending on your world in your immediate circumference.
Sudden death as you are expanding. You're blowing up, and then somebody suddenly dies.
Yeah.
That's the energy alignment that she's speaking about of the pairing of those planets. That's what's going to manifest.
That's why everybody does not achieve success, because you feel it in your heart. When you start walking, crossing those burning sands, you're feeling everything that's taking place. You feel the fear, you feel the loss. You're about to lose a bunch of people because they can't come with you. Right. They didn't make it to where you made it. They can't come with you. So you're about to lose a whole lot.
You're about to lose. You're about to shed.
Yeah.
And that shit gets heavy on the heart for some people. They can't deal with that emotional detachment.
Yeah. So that is why that it's important. And this is what the other people did. You know what they did? This is why they created Masonic initiation.
Lodges, right.
And certain things like that. Because what they were doing is they were trying to fortify you so that when you walk through, you don't have all that trauma of crossing over to that side, that's to that level. Because think about it, back in the days, we didn't have billionaires and trillionaires and all of that. We didn't have that. We barely had millionaires back in the days. So now we have reached such a big, massive level in the flow of money, huge, tremendous, endless money. Imagine the energy that you're passing through to get there. Literally, I created a currency and I literally almost died in September. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it made sense to me. I knew it was coming. I didn't know how it was going to, but I honestly, I was like, I'd rather me go through the fire like that than someone else close to me. I'd rather I be the one to take that hit. Give me that hit. I can make it. I'm back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Wow. Yeah, I see. Yeah, you want to finish something? Or? Okay. Yeah, I see y'all loving it in the chat. We about to get the Q&A, y'all. This is an exciting, much needed conversation. Before we get to the chat, I want to remind y'all, make sure y'all hit up the Cash App, $ Black Magic 363. I see y'all saying it's such a great show, but I ain't get one Cash App donation yet. So it can't be that good. It can't be that good. Shit, it can't be It can't be that good, y'all. Kevin Samuels would have got 30 cash apps by now. Shit. And we talking some real shit over here. But now we're going to Q&A, family. I want to thank everybody for tuning in up to this point. Give me some good questions for them. Oh, somebody asked where Red Pill at. Blue, y'all got something going on tomorrow, right?
Oh, yeah. We got a lecture tomorrow called American Gods 5. You could go to Eventbrite, AmericanGods5.eventbrite.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be touching on, all of these topics, tying in it all, from the Travis to the Dolph, Malcolm X's daughter. I ain't speak on that in public yet. It's so much information, but it's just like, what I'm going to do it on Instagram? Like, what are we going to do this at, family?
Yeah.
YouTube, like, they're non-deserving of this level of observation and information. We need our own, and shout out, of course, Aquarius, because when we was talking about it, she was getting it done. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Indeed.
I appreciate that. Yeah, this is a really good time in life. Like, it really is for everybody. For everybody. And it's scary, but you got to understand, those who know. Like, when you're crossing over into a good time, it's darkest before you get to that light.
Yes.
It's darkest before you get to the dawn. It's not easy. It literally isn't. And I think that we have a lot of tools now to help us deal with that. We have spiritual tools, we have ancestral tools. You really got to hold on to that stuff, because I don't know where I'd be if I didn't have that stuff, honestly. Like I say, like he told you, I was already told I was going to get COVID and be where I was. And I was told in my initiation, that was going to happen. And I think, my godparents, I thank the ancestors, I thank everybody for taking me through that. So I know that I'm not walking through this journey alone, because otherwise you will feel like you're walking through it alone. And most people turn to alcohol, they turn to drugs, they turn to all these things to escape the experience. But I turn to knowledge and understanding and love to and appreciate the experience.
Indeed. Shout out to thank you for the super chat, love. I really appreciate it, family. Let's get to some questions. I seen there was one I want to get to first. Where did it go? Somebody want to know somebody want to know about dark matter and black matter and dark energy. Could you touch on that? I don't see the question, but they okay, yeah. What you know about dark energy and dark matter? That's the question.
Well, I guess that's the most prevalent thing in the universe. That's for sure.
to start out with,
it is the most prevalent thing in the universe. Is like, what do you not know about it? Everything you know is it.
Is it right?
The little bit that you think you know is the light. But everything that is you is the dark. That light is just casting a brightness on a little speck in what you are. I mean, I think it's important that we delve into that stuff and embrace it, of course, because coming through I came through the whole UFO conspiracy era. Like, back in 2004, I even had a community that was in that. And the big thing in during that time was everything was light, love and light, light and light, light and light. And of course, as a Scorpio, I wasn't really having all that.
Wasn't feeling it. You was like,
I was like, nah, no, I'm not feeling it.
Aquarius said I wasn't really feeling that.
No, I'm not feeling it. But I understand that there's a place for it. You know, when you, a lot of times when you're purifying yourself and releasing some things, but there's also a place for the darkness, you know, because again, the baby is in darkness for before it comes into the light, you know. So there's a place, and that's where you feel most comfortable, and that's where everything is in order. Everything is in order in the dark. It's light that's chaos and takes it out of order.
Right. We come from darkness and we return into it.
Yeah.
You're gonna spend more time in the dark than you are in the light.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. People
you know
tell me now, they be like, why don't you put some lights on in here? Like everywhere I am. You put the lights on. You always got the lights off. You know, hey, love it. I can't,
that's real.
You know.
Nah, that's real. I appreciate. Yeah, you know, the whole community is like you said, Aquarius is based on everybody saying love and light, my brother, love and light, my sister, love and light. We're always constantly thinking about the light, even the sun. When we look at the sun, everybody's like the light, the light. That's what we need, the light. We eat food for the light. We eat food for the light. So a lot of people, the darkness doesn't really get, you know, appreciated like the light gets appreciated. You know?
But let us be clear that again, your job as a light sentient being was to help darkness comprehend itself. So you have an assignment, and your assignment is to overcome your fear of darkness. That's how you're gonna help darkness overcome itself, is that it fears itself. You're running around calling yourself black, but you're scared of the dark. You know what I'm saying? The shit is oxymoronic, and you're not allowing yourself to extract your true power, because your power is on the other side of your fear of the darkness, and your fear of the darkness is tied into your fear of death. You know what I'm saying? And live your life, right? Where not even death can kill you. That's when you free. You feel me? Live your life where not even death can kill you. That's when you free, right? You have totally absolved the sting out of what quote unquote death has presented itself. How it's been sold to you and packaged is very it's cringeworthy, because you think that you're going to the dark and you're scared of that. If you embrace the dark and you understand it to be what it is, and you own your death, you feel me? Then what's going to stop you from living your life? You're not living until you conquer your fear of death and ultimately your fear of the darkness. You know what I'm saying? Because you come from that. You are that. And I was speaking about that in my we did the celebration yesterday, and I'm like, that gives these people the advantage. And when I say these people, I mean the people who adhere to the dark arts. You know, they're dealing with both sides of the coin. You just dealing with one. You're gonna get flipped every time. You know what I'm saying? So now that we came out of Scorpio and we are on the other side, thanks to Travis Scott.
You stupid.
Let's talk about it so we could own it, and it can no longer be the sword is held over our head, because it's preventing us from moving forward. But yet we embrace, we energize and entertain a death culture, but we scared to die. The shit makes no sense.
Let's
you know what, I wanted to add something to that real quick. It actually came up. It's interesting because as we start talking about dark matter and darkness, we're talking about we're talking about noon. And those are the Poseidon energies over us right now. They almost called the last variant new, by the way. But they took it away and changed it to Omnicron, which they're both the same card, 9 of diamonds. Right? I mean, 9 of hearts, I'm sorry. But
I did see something pop up with new.
Yeah, so new is dealing with the watery depths, the dark depths of the ocean, all of that, right? Because when you go down in the depths of the ocean, it's dark.
98% unexplored.
Yep. So all of that.
What the ocean? Elaborate. What do you?
The depths of the ocean, the dark depths of the ocean.
The dark depths.
98%.
98% of it is unexplored. Yet they're telling you what the pimples on the back of Pluto look like, but they can't tell you.
We have a quote unquote alien world under the ocean. You know, literally.
Certified.
Wow. Some Angel Who Slew. I hope I said your name right, Queen. She just wrote DOS earthquake, and I want to just elaborate on that whatever that comment right there. Some people are saying, Aquarius, you alluded to earlier us being X-Men and X-Woman, super like this, the superhuman. Some people said that the young Dolph, the rapper that died, he caused an earthquake that happened in Memphis. Now, to some people, that would sound utterly ridiculous, but tell me, how can the death of a soul cause an earthquake to happen in a city that they're from, where earthquake never happens?
Well, this is the thing. What you got to look at in cardiology is that everything, like you spoke about earlier, timing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So even his death is timed to some type of transformation that's taking place in the whole of Memphis. It's funny because ever since that happened, I keep seeing the name Memphis pop up left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So usually when these types of things happen, you got to understand, just like you're going through a transit, your cardiology transit, your astrology transit, so are these cities. These cities are going through transits. They're having their transit. So I can see when some type of catastrophe happens in a particular city. You're talking about Scorpio. You're talking about, they may be having Scorpio Mars transits or whatever the case may be, but it's something that's happening to the whole city. That the city is the mama, right? So this transformation that happened to this celebrity, a star, and stars are usually significant of major events that are going to happen, right? So we track everything to the stars. So we track everything to the celebrities too, because they're stars. They deal with people on a major basis every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people don't understand. Like when I'm doing a reading on a celebrity, I'm doing a window onto all of you
Mm-hmm.
because they are dealing with a wide array of people every day. They're a star.
Right, tapped into them.
Yeah, they're a star. So you want to know what's going on. This is why I love looking at them, because you know what? Over the last 20 years, the celebrities have gotten wealthier and wealthier, Black celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
So what that tells me is that we are actually becoming wealthier and wealthier. We may not realize it. We may not realize how we're expanding, but if you could look at them and see how they're expanding, they're a reflection of us. So wherever they are right now, so if you see Meg Thee Stallion out there having a good time, guess what? The golden age for you is coming. The golden age for all of us is coming. It would be bad if all of them were just doing bad. You know what I mean? I would be worried if they were all just falling out, dying, every one of them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And all of this stuff, I would be very worried about us as a whole. But they're out there evolving. They're getting into tech. They're getting into investing. They're buying land. They're doing all these other things outside of just being a celebrity. So they're casting a mirror on where we are in the grand scheme of things. And I think that's
Yeah,
pretty good.
they are for the most part doing everything that we're doing. There's one of them that are doing or talking about everything that we're talking about to some degree. Maybe not the deepest metaphysical stuff, but the stuff that is, what we would consider the advancement of the community, financial literacy, you know what I'm saying, getting particular health situations situated, all of that. There's a celebrity attached to every level of advancement that we're witnessing, that we can once again observe and extract from that observation to say, oh, this is where this thing is going.
Yeah, I mean, look at how amazing it is that somebody from the hood that I'm from, right, is one of the now join the ranks of the world's billionaires. We have a problem with that, but we shouldn't have a problem with that
Who
because
you referring
nobody,
to, Aquarius? Who you referring to?
everybody, we got
No, you
Jay-Z,
said from the
we
hood.
got we
What's
got
up?
we got Kanye, we got what's her face? We got Rihanna. I go to Barbados and I get to go
Right.
in her old neighborhood where she grew up from. So, and we got I mean, even look at Eve. I mean,
Mm.
all of these people now
Yeah.
are you would never have
And I,
imagined
yeah.
in our time where we was back in Brooklyn, the Bronx, Harlem, and Queens, that these people would be where they are
Yeah.
today. It's amazing.
I could say I've met all four of them. I've had different personal situations with all 4 of them on different degrees. So it's like these are people that we tangibly can point at and say, yo, I've seen that person, I know that person, I've had a conversation with, broke bread with that person. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
powerful because it's
Yeah.
relative to you. It
Like,
shows
look, yeah.
you your potential.
I booked Jay-Z for his first concert in Brooklyn to perform Reasonable Doubt. I put Kanye on his first cover of his magazine ever. You know what I'm saying? In 2002, before he got his jaw cracked. And I had to fight to do it because nobody knew who he was. He didn't have a single out. I said, I believe in this nigga. Right?
Yeah.
Rihanna was checking the kid out when she met him.
Uh-oh.
Feel me?
Uh-oh.
Check the kid out. You know what I'm saying?
ASAP better watch out, man.
My nephew just he's the star in her, her upcoming video, Amir. I mean, so that's like, the shit comes full circle. You feel me?
It does. Let me tell you something. Next year is 2022 is a 6 of Hearts year. The 6 of Hearts is about planting seeds. And it's so amazing to see that play out. My entire life, like all of the celebrities I've dealt with when I was younger, they're all coming back to me now, dealing with me on a one-to-one level. Like, I knew you then. Like, and here you are, and we back on something totally different. Like, it's
right.
so amazing. Like I remember, and even then, I have my South Node is in Gemini. So when I was a young kid, I used to dance, I used to rap, I used to do all of that. So I almost went the path of music, but I didn't. I got turned away from the path of music. So turned away from all of them, right? But now they're back.
Yeah, they went off.
Something totally different. Wow.
They come back.
Crypto. Yeah, it's amazing.
So I said, look, next year will be 20 years since I interviewed Ye. All right, I'm publicly saying that next year I will interview the brother because he deserves to have an interview with somebody that can actually go back and forth with him and compliment his genius. He hasn't had that ever that I've seen in a public spectrum. When I interviewed him, the shit was for 3 hours. And we was going back and forth, exchanging information and so it's like where the brother's at now with his information, he just needs somebody. Obviously, he kind of needs somebody to talk to, but also, this information is in a position where it can help. Because it's like, shit, if I had spoke to him, and what if we would advance some plans and got some of these ideas that he's talking about with the Sabi situation situated? These can potentially help people that are in his network. Maybe he couldn't help Virgil directly, but somebody else that's in his circle that might have cancer be like, yo, you got a line on them herbs or some of them people that, can heal in that community. I need to, you feel me? So I do feel that the dialogue and the bridging with some of these celebrities are going to help advance this information. The allocation of this information is going to also deal with a quickening next year. 2022 is going to be explosive. Shout out to Ras Ben. He did a video as well. He was speaking about Jupiter coming home in Pisces. I don't know if you want to speak about that, Aquarius.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I also want you to talk about the U.S.'s Pluto return, please.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I have Jupiter natally in Pisces. So next year I'm having
that
my
explains
Jupiter
a lot.
return. Yes. And it's everything they said it's going to be.
That's right.
Obviously. But I also have a 10 of diamonds in Neptune for life. And again, that is the relationship that I have with the stars. Absolutely. And it's been like amazing. It's like I realized that certain celebrities that I dealt with on a spiritual level, like they're my helpers. Like they literally came here to open the door for me. And that's exactly like they literally been showing up like left and right. I'm like, wow, I remember you. I remember you. I remember you. Like this is like, but it was something totally different back then. But Pisces is definitely a huge play, and Jupiter is a huge play in the realm of the celebrity world. So, but Jupiter is the guru, and it's the spiritual guru at that. and brings enlightenment and wisdom. So what you are going to see is you're definitely going to see a large amount of them turning to different spiritual people, different gurus or whatever, and especially astrology, especially, numerology, cardology, gematria, all of that. Because I've already experienced it. I already have quite a few celebrity clients. So I already see what's going on behind the scenes. But I think it's going to come more out of I guess you could say, out of the closet, out of the shadows. You're going to see more of them doing that, because the future celebrity is the guru. The guru, the astrologer, the blue pill, the black.
You can feel it coming. You can feel it coming.
Are
Yeah.
the future celebrities. This is the new celebrity that the social media and the metaverse is bringing forth as celebrities, because people are going to, after these couple of years, people are going to need a tremendous amount of hand holding. Next year, this Omicron is bringing the Nine of Hearts. The Nine of Hearts is the therapist, is the counselor, is the hand holder, the mental health, spiritual health. That is going to be the biggest theme of next year. So, and it doesn't just happen on our levels. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You still got to deal with this. You still need, this is what you need. You need that spiritual healing, and it's coming.
Yeah, I know y'all loving this, man. This is some good stuff.
You want to talk about the U.S.'s Pluto?
Oh, yeah. Pluto return. Yes, we're coming up on the United States Pluto return exactly February 22nd, 2022. So 2022, right, on my daughter's birthday.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, absolutely. And she is like, I see it in her already. Like,
you want to tell them what a Pluto return,
entails? So essentially what any return is when the planets return to the place it was when you were born, right? So the United States was born July 4th, 1776 is the United States birthday, right? And Pluto was in Capricorn at that time, right? So now Pluto is returning to the exact degree it was when the country was created. So what Pluto does is it's the builder and the destroyer, right? So it is what it comes along and says, this ain't working. You know what I mean? And obliterates it, right? And something new is born out of that. So Pluto in the United States chart is in the second house, the house that rules what? Money, Taurus. That's a Taurian house. So you're talking about our values. You're talking about our money, currency. And currently now you have Uranus in Taurus, which is accompanying Pluto. So you got Uranus, which is drastic change, rebellion, freedom, all of that, the liberator, all of that in money. And then you got Pluto destroying old money. And this is something that I talked about for years. I talked about a pole shift. We haven't lived long enough to experience these things, but these things are happening. So karma is real, but it doesn't work in the way that people think it does. So it works in a way of balancing things out, flipping things over, gives you an opportunity to have your power, right? If your power is taken away from you, all of these things. So what you're having is a huge karmic or financial karmic rebirth, right? So you got old money, which is going to be obliterated, and new money, which is taking its place. And in between, you got all of these people who are owed money. Because if you're owed money, you're going to get your money if you step up to claim it. You know what I mean? So that's what they talk about when they talk about Revelations, the meat taking over the earth and all the stuff like that. It's really about you stepping up and claiming your karmic right. What is owed you? What is owed your ancestors? What is owed the people who spilt blood on the land, who actually invested their sweat equity into these mega companies now, because these mega companies came from the companies that enslaved or traded in the slaves, insured the slaves, all of that stuff like that. So you're coming to collect was due you, right?
Mm.
And the thing is, they know about these things because this all goes back to the debt cycle, the Jewish debt cycle. I talk about that as well in September, where you have, you got the what is it, Rosh Hashanah or whatever, where they have to pay their debts by then. Right, they complete this debt. Yeah, they complete their debt cycle every year. This is the King of Diamonds. So the King of Diamonds has to keep his debts down. He got to make sure that things don't get out of control and out of balance. But obviously, that's not the case anymore. Things have gotten out of control and out of balance. And the debt has grown. You can even look at the debt as America. Our debt, how much we owe, all of these things have grown. So now it's time to pay the piper somewhere. Right. So what they do is they pay you little by little by giving you things like PPP, EIDL, they give you universal income, whatever. They got to give you these things. They know they got to pay their debts. So they said, well, we'll give them this because this is going to give them some money. It's not enough. It's not enough to cover the debt. Right. So you have an implosion and you got a new system now in which a group of people who are owed get their money and other people lose that money, that they're getting. So the karmic money thing is real. It's very real. And I see it playing out. Like people don't understand. I'd be like, people like, I'm leaving America and going somewhere else. I'm not leaving until I collect my money. I'm not going nowhere until I collect what's mine. And you got to have that attitude because it shows that you have sound values. If you leave money on the table, then, that's up to you. But your ancestors don't want you to leave money on the table. Our ancestors are all about money. Seriously. They're all about wealth. They're not about coming back to poverty. They're not about coming back to any of that. They're about you getting that money. You getting what they owed them, collecting their debt.
They're like, give me my coins. Yeah.
Yes.
Powerful. Let's get to the next question. Somebody keeps let me see.
My mom's in the audience.
Shout out to
Diamond is in the audience. Diamond.
Shout out to Mama Maximus.
Yeah, she's
Mama
a cardiologist
too. You know what I'm saying?
She's a legend.
Yes, she is.
Somebody keeps saying, I don't see a lot of questions. Somebody keeps saying, can you elaborate on the 5? What is that?
The 5 of diamonds is powerful, super powerful. That's Rihanna's card. So that is about the flow of money. Money loves to flow, right? So that's why you got your waves and you got your calm and then you got the tsunamis and you got all of that. But you are here to master all of that energy. You are here to master the flow of money. And to understand it, and not only understand it, but to teach it to others, because you have a King of Clubs, Uranus. So you're a teacher, you're a master teacher, you're a master teacher of money, numbers, math, all of that stuff. 5 of diamonds are brilliant, so you have to master that. And when you come around other people, we got to master that flow of money. So we don't want the feast or famine. 5 of diamonds get that feast or famine. You get that hit and it goes right out. And then the next thing you know, you ain't got nothing. And then you waiting for the next wave, right? But the 5 of diamonds is learning how to prepare the in-between time. So you should be investing, because when the downtime comes, your investments are there. You know what I mean? So you're still sound and you can still live off of your investments. You can live off the land. 5 of diamonds are beasts when it comes to real estate. That is one of your birthrights, is to be able to acquire real estate, even on a big scale. So you should be investing in the land. You should be investing in things that you can use to live off of when those tides go down.
All right, we're going to take about 2 more questions before we get out of here. Once again, I want to thank everybody in the chat room. We got about 1,400 people. I don't know how many likes we got, but I want everybody in here to like the video. You know what I'm saying? That helps the algorithm. That helps people, the channel, get recognized more. I know a lot of times notifications don't even go out to the people. So, yeah, I want the algorithm. I want y'all to help the algorithm as much as possible, family, right? hit that like button. There's nobody talking about what we're talking about at this time on YouTube on a Monday night. So, definitely. Somebody wanted to know, how about that eclipse on the
Eclipse on the
4th?
4th. Yeah.
Talk to me.
Eclipse in Sagittarius of all. Well, we hear the word eclipse and we think eclipse, so we always think of what's being torn away. So we get a little scared, we get a little antsy about it. But this particular eclipse is a new moon as well. So it's a super new moon.
Solar eclipse.
Right, exactly. And it occurs on an Ace of Diamonds day, which is powerful as hell.
That's Jay-Z card, right?
Yes. So this is the activation of new leaders, the activation of new teachers and gurus, because it takes place in Sagittarius. So new gurus who are going to be the leaders of the future, who are carrying you into new values. This is the activation of that. So the activations, always there's a separation, what's going, but then there's that new beginning. So that's what this is. And it's already playing out. So you're already seeing the players. You're starting to see the new folks come out of the shadows and start leading us, especially when it comes to money. You know what I mean? And this is the thing. The Ace of Diamonds also can bring about war, right? So a lot of people are talking about a little hint of warlike activity in 2022. I would definitely say that's due to this eclipse, because the Ace of Diamonds is a military general as well. It has the card of war and Mars. You know what I mean? So, however, it's more so a lot more talk than it is actual things. You know what I mean? So not to say that there's going to be an actual war, but it may be talks of war, and it may be acts, a little small battles also taking place in regards to this new beginning. But this new beginning is more so over philosophy. Sagittarius deals with philosophy. So the driving force behind whatever war is going to be philosophical. It's going to be religious. It's going to be, legal, what laws need to take place, etc. But we can't leave out the gurus. This is about the beginning of the new leaders who are gurus and who are bringing new philosophies to the people.
Okay. Blue, you want to add on to that? The eclipse on the 4th, or? We doing a meditation that day, Blue? By the way, are we doing?
I was about to say that, the last eclipse we did our meditation, and I definitely think for the 4th we should follow up, and touch on this whole aspect of the solar eclipse coming in.
We should hear a lot about Jay-Z as well, because that's his birthday.
That's his birthday, So yeah, it's definitely gonna be some of that strong Sagittarius energy coming through. And like she said, it's so much reverberation of it taking place already. You know what I'm saying? There's so many signs it's already taking place. But yeah, we need to utilize that portal and hopefully do another meditation, catch that energy on that particular day. I wanted you, if you had an opportunity, Aquarius, to speak about, the Jupiter and Pisces aspect. Is that indicative of the water that you were speaking about? The massive, because I've got it in my visions. Several people have brought, their dreams or their premonitions to me as well. And the most consistent thing that I have been hearing is about, coastal flooding, extreme water event.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't like using those words like catastrophic, but something that's going to change the tapestry and the topography of this country.
Yeah, Jupiter and Pisces definitely brings the increase of water in the conversation, but Jupiter is more of the protective force, right? So it's about how we're going to build our structures to deal with the water. You know what I mean? So people are going to, build cities on the water. Are they going to build cities under the water? How are we going to expand into the water? Because the more destructive force of the water comes in Aquarius. Because remember, I talked about that. I think your last show, Aquarius, is about the floods and the tsunamis. So we've already had Jupiter kind of coming through and it's about to leave there, but Saturn is still there. So that's still, indicative of some major water event, or catastrophe that will take place because of Saturn being in Aquarius. But Jupiter, that water event is here to teach us, okay, how do we build differently? If the waters are coming up, if we are becoming a water society, how do we prepare for that? Should we start looking to build more on water or build houseboats or home boats or cities,
Right.
on
Or
water?
right. Or should we move inward?
Or should we move inward? In the meantime, until technology catches up to being able to build underwater cities, which it will. But in the meantime, yes, building, not living on the coast, because even in a water city, people don't live on the coast. They got something built out in the water. The coast is probably the most dangerous place to live because it's going to erode over time. That's just natural. So you want to move inward. You want to, move off of islands. A lot of people in New York don't even know they live. New York City don't even know they live on an island. like,
Island. Right.
like literally, you live on an island. So, you have to be reminded that this is an island. You got to prepare for that. How do you prepare for it? So I think that all of these things are going to take our vision so that we prepare to expand in living with water, in being in water, in a good way. And there's going to be a lot of I guess you could say teachers, spiritual teachers, and whatever. They're going to be talking about the water. They're going to be talking about Atlantis. They're going to be talking about these themes. This is going to be the theme of the next 2 years.
Aquarius, let me say this real quick, Blue. Before my basement got flooded, I was actually on the live with Aquarius, and she mentioned New York being flooded, getting flooded, and that we need to be careful. I want to ask y'all a question or make a comment. And
Ida,
Ida, and I can bring this up to y'all without y'all thinking I'm weird or y'all thinking I'm trying to come up with a conspiracy theory or something like that. But it wasn't raining. The way my basement got flooded and New York got flooded, and the way it destroyed New York, it wasn't raining that much for it to destroy it like that. I've sat in the same basement where it rained 10 times. Let me follow, Blue. It rained 10 times harder. Nothing. You should have seen this shit coming in my basement door. You would have think there's a river right outside. Like this shit. It was. I never seen nothing like. And I'm trying to think logically. I'm like, this shit don't make sense. It was not. It happened so fast. It wasn't enough rain. It wasn't like it was raining for hours or days. It was like it rained for like an hour or something like that. It was light. Next thing I know, it didn't make sense. So I just wanted to say, could y'all comment on that? It don't add up. It don't add up. What happened with Ida?
I had came out the mountains on the Lionsgate. I was up in Shasta doing the meditation. I came in your platform. I told whoever would listen, I said, look, they're trying to cancel the babies. That's what my ancestors told me. It was clear as day, right? They said, look for these weather events. I get back to the East Coast, Ida comes, right? Now, Ida comes up the Gulf, makes the Mississippi Delta turn the opposite way. So I like the Nile. So I'm like, all right, you see now activity has been activated. They knocked the 911 center out as well, right? Me knowing about 9/11, and this was leading into the 20th anniversary for 9/11. So I was like, okay, 9/11 or the 911 services was enacted in Alabama in 1968. They used Bull Connor to do it. 1968 was the same year that they started construction on the Twin Towers, which ultimately which they opened up on April 4th, 1973. Is a 4-4 resonator. Of course, the Mississippi Delta flows the opposite way, right? So I'm already like, okay, they called the shit Ida. The two energy centers are what? The Ida and the Pingala, dealing with masculine and feminine energy. Ida represents the feminine. It represents water, right? This was around the same time where an individual from New York, whose name shall remain anonymous, got hit with that charge, dealing with discretions that was done in the South, where the Ida came from. it was about knocking down the towers. It had to come to New York and wash up New York, because Ida represents the subconscious community, Pingala represents the conscious community. So the feminine energies was coming in and rushing in to reset, leading up into 9/11. It happened a few days before 9/11, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think it was like
Yeah.
that weekend. So
Yes, it was.
to me, I'm looking at it. It was all spiritual. It all dealt with the cleansing. It all dealt with the waters. It dealt with the feminine energy. It dealt with this whole aspect of the conscious community has to embrace more feminine energy, especially in the figurehead of conscious community is New York of all places.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Those towers, those pillars have to come down.
yeah. I mean, well, this is the thing. The card of the year for the United States birthday is the Ten of Spades. The Ten of Spades is the card for whales. So, whales. So when you see anything to do with that, you're talking about big water, right?
Mhm.
And you're not even just talking about whales and water. You're also talking about money whales, crypto whales, all of that.
Yeah.
Whales is the theme, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that took place in the United States birthday year. It was early on. And I said that that was a warning.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like there was a bigger one coming. And this is what tends to happen. We get warnings. We do. Like warnings come out of the blue and they like just shoot a zap. Nature don't just do stuff to you and not give you a warning. You get a warning,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then after that warning, you get time to prepare. Um, and that's why I was telling you about the floods. So now we're talking about La Palma. You know, everybody's talking about La Palma and the potential for tsunami being created from La Palma. You know, so all of La Palma signs are popping up. You know, everything to do with La Palma is popping up in the ethers. We're getting all of these different signs. This is how psychics get their psychic messages. They pay attention to the messages that are popping up in the ethers, and then they put it all together. They sit down and like, okay, I got this message 5 times, 10 times. This is what this is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because they
because
pay attention to the signs.
yeah, anybody that tracks signs and patterns, you're gonna pay attention to the
Yeah,
signs and the patterns, because that's
yeah,
how the
yeah,
universe communicates with you. It's a language. You
yeah.
feel me?
And all of this is coming for the destruction of Wall Street. That has to happen. To be a part of this Pluto return, and you're talking about the upset of the financial world and all of that coming down, it all boils down to Wall Street. Wall Street got to go.
Gotta
You know
go.
what I mean? So how Wall Street is going to go? Likely by water, you know, and it literally sits at one of the lowest points on the island, you know, by water.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Remember,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so you have
55
to
Water Street, $1
be
trillion
Water Street.
worth of gold is underneath, right? At the base of Manhattan. It goes from 55 Water Street, 2 blocks all the way underneath World Trade Center. They showed you that in Die Hard 3. Showed it to you, right?
When I started Guap Coin, when I was called to New York to do an interview with Glamour magazine. They put me up on Wall Street. That's where they put me at, right? And I just felt like a chill when I was there. I was like, wow. I was like, this is where it's all going down, right? And this was the beginning of the currency that I founded. You know what I mean? So it was just so many signs that I had. And I was like, wow, it's going down on Wall Street. It's funny because years ago, I used to work on Wall Street and I got fired on Wall Street by, you know, it was a little racist incident that took place and they fired me and they shipped me over to where there was more Black folks at another location. Right. So I've had like so many interactions with Wall Street during my life. And it's always been something like just pulling back to the overall theme of what Wall Street is and what it's about. But and then recently I just connected with some traders and stuff down there. But yeah, it's going down. If I had to say any place was ground zero, I would say it's Wall Street. So that means you don't want to be anywhere near ground zero when it goes down.
Wow. Man, I hope y'all enjoyed tonight's show, family. I sure did. This is one of them ones you call an instant classic. So shout out to Aquarius Maximus and Blue Pill. Why don't you leave the family with your contact information, both of y'all, before we get out of here?
Yeah, go ahead. Ladies first.
Oh, no, go ahead. At Aquarius Maximus on Instagram. Don't get caught up in the clones. The clone war. And by the way,
Clone.
clones are a jack of spades. We're in a jack of spades era because that's also the card for crypto. It's the card for Bitcoin in particular. And it also is clones. So we're in the age, we're in the middle of the clone wars. It's the fight for your identity. But yeah, you could look me up there. I'm also on Twitter, Aquarius Maximus, although my Twitter handle is Maximus Aquarius there. But if you look up Aquarius Maximus, you'll come across me. Twitter is a little bit better with the clones than all of the other ones because I guess they got more to lose. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And also AquariusMaximus.com, my website.
Yes. At Blue Pillar 44. That's on IG at Blue Pillar 44. You can find me on Twitter at Blue Pillar 44. Blue Pillar 44 at Gmail if you want to shoot me any inquiries. Goldwater.com. GOLDEWATER. If you catch it, we still got like 30 minutes left for this sale. We got a Cyber Monday sale going on. I think it's 35% off. So check us out. All right. We
And
got
real quick, guap coin too.
plethora products over there. And American Gods 5 Eventbrite. You know what I'm saying? American Gods 5 Eventbrite is where you can get tickets to a presentation that me, my brother, and Alkebalan 44 are having in a virtual space tomorrow online. It's a webinar. Like, yeah, so much information to unpack. Like, let's measure time and catalog it properly so you can put your perspective in place next year so you can conquer this thing. You know what I'm saying? You can get over this mountain.
Absolutely.
This is the year. This is the year
Absolutely.
to get it done, y'all. In the early part of the year as well. So, don't be like, oh, I'm gonna catch up now. Like, get on point now. So there's no catching up. So you can be, you know what I mean? You can be ready to maximize on the beginnings. Yes.
So people asked about guap coin. To ask any questions on guap coin, go to guaptalk.org. That's the forum. We want people to sign up there so you can ask questions so that you can share information and find out what you need to do all across with guap coin. Next month, we're launching XGuap. XGuap is the extension of Guap, which will allow you to be able to trade out there on Pancake Swap and all these other places and DeFi, get into DeFi, etc. So we're working on that. We're working on some augmented reality merch. We're working on the Metaverse. We're getting ready to do a digital land sale. The Metaverse move is huge. We got some big players involved with that. I'm super excited about it. That's like my biggest excitement because it's a big thumb up in the face of Facebook. If some of you know, I had a social network that I launched called New, and the next play for New was always the Metaverse. I've been into the Metaverse for years. I'm a developer on Facebook's Horizons mess, so I could see what they were doing. But I've been in that space for years. So we're gonna do our own thing, and it's gonna be spectacular. So I'm super excited about that. We have our land sale. We're gonna have properties like New Brooklyn, New Harlem, NU Harlem. Get a city. All of that stuff like that, and ways that you can earn passive income continually by owning stakes in these virtual real estate properties. So I'm super excited about that.
Indeed, and before we get out of here, family, once again, I want to remind y'all of the masterclass coming up this December 11th. I want to take this time to thank Blue Pill. Blue Pill, I'm gonna talk to you tomorrow. I got to show Blue Pill some appreciation for putting me. Blue Pill actually not only put me on to this brother, had the brother on the show years ago, but probably 2 years ago, Blue Pill probably told me about 6 times in a year, yo, you got to get Bitcoin Bully. You got to get Bitcoin Bully on your show. And I finally said, I'm gonna get the brother on my show. And it's been history ever since then.
I introduced you to Aquarius too.
I was getting to that. Come on, let me tell my story, bro. Come on, Blue. Blue messing up my story. I was getting to that, Blue. Blue, I'm getting to that. The brother Blue also put me on to Aquarius Maximus.
Yeah, so, you're the plug. You know you're a plug. You're the plug.
Yo, so Blue,
the plugs is you're the plug.
I bridge. Somebody asked me, what's your superpower? People. I said I bridge worlds. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like,
so
that's what I do.
Blue has been instrumental in my channel since its inception. Blue's actually the person that got Dick Gregory on my channel. When he became a regular on my channel, it was because of Blue Pill that Dick Gregory became on his wife. I reached out to his wife and I was able to get him on my channel on the regular. So Blue Pill plays a big part in Black Magic 363. And I got to show some appreciation to Blue. I'm going to call you tomorrow and let you know. Got to give a donation to my brother. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I got to hit up Blue tomorrow. But listen, family, thank you, Blue Pill. This brother's, he's a beast with it. It's going down December 11th, family. The Metaverse, NFTs, DeFi, how to control your digital identity, how to keep money you already have and utilize debt to gain access to the NFT market, the ins and outs of asset accumulation, and much more. This workshop also comes with a free ebook, a free workshop that we did prior, as well as a 7-day Discord that is going down right after the workshop is done. So you're getting a lot for $100. And shout out to everybody who got a little discount for Black Friday. But I just posted the link in the chat. And Aquarius, I got to do a masterclass with you next year. We got to do something. We got to hook up, and we got to do something next year. It's another thing before we get out of here. Aquarius Maximus was actually the first guest on my platform this year. Do you remember?
Yeah.
He was the first. This is when
it's like you got to come on, and it was the King of Spades. Yeah. I was like, she was
the first guest, and I was like, I'm gonna feature this sister a lot more this year. My spirit was telling me that, and I'm glad I listened to my spirit because look what happened this year from having her on my platform. But listen, family, I want to thank all y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all sign up. Y'all hear everything Aquarius and Blue Bill's talking about. It's going down in the new world that's being created, the new financial systems that being played. Don't cheat yourself, family. Treat yourself by investing in yourself. Sign up to this 5-hour masterclass December 11th. Me and Blue Pill is gonna have the Kundalini thing. We're working out something. We want to do it in person. We don't want to do it again online. We're gonna do it in person. That's going down 2022. I'm definitely gonna collaborate with Aquarius Maximus in 2022. With that being said, family, I want to thank Blue Pill, Aquarius Maximus for coming on the show. Family, we get out of here. Peace. Enjoy your night, family. All right.